Yo guys, what is up? Battlecraver117 here, and today we are going to be talking about Star Wars Battlefront, since it's the hot new game that's going to be coming out very soon, and by very soon I mean 28 more days. And since it's only 20 more days away, I thought it's about time that I make a video on some news and just some information about Star Wars Battlefront. So many of you probably already know about it, but today we are going to be talking about all the released and revealed game modes that are going to be available in the game of Star Wars Battlefront. So there's probably going to be quite a few more released as the due date approaches, but so far we have a couple to talk about. So first off, we're going to start with missions. So this is the single player offline or co-op mode that you can play, and it's just a great way to jump in and see what the game is about. So the first mode we got is training. So the official description off of the EA website is that Star Wars Battlefront training missions will let you fly an X-Wing over the canyons of Tatooine, chase down rebels with your speeder bike, or even fight as Darth Vader. Training missions will help you become the best pilot in the galaxy and a formidable player on the ground in Star Wars Battlefront. So what I'm thinking this means is this is going to be your tutorial mode. It's just going to be a set of different missions that you can do that get you acquainted with the game and are most likely going to be most heavily played when the game first releases, as everyone is getting acquainted with the controls or whatnot. But the people who had the ability to play the beta are probably going to be a couple steps ahead of everybody, as they've already had some time to mess around with the controls of the game and get acquainted with it. The second mode that we got is survival. So the official description reads, hold off waves of Imperial forces, including AT-STs, TIE fighters, elite stormtroopers, and more. Experience a different survival mission on every planet. And those of you guys that were fortunate enough to play the beta have already probably experienced and played around with the Tatooine survival, which is what this picture is depicting. That's what we've seen game mode for and gameplay in different trailers, and it was also in the beta. So this one has been heavily played already, but what we have to look forward to is survival on Endor, Solus, and Hoth as well. So those will be very cool, and I'm guessing the terrain varies, and probably the different waves and opponents that you're going to be facing vary between the planets. The next one we have is battles. Master your Star Wars Battlefront prowess with battle missions. Fight alongside the Rebel Alliance or Empire against a friend or against enemy AI. Head-to-head action. Battle missions will put your skills to the test. Do you have what it takes? Indeed, I do believe that I have what it takes. But what I believe that this game mode is going to be is possibly similar to the instant action in the previous games of Star Wars Battlefront. This is just going to be your classic battles that you can go. You just jump right in, facing off against AI enemies on different maps, and that you are kind of just battling to battle and see which side wins. So that's my guess for what this is. And in this picture we can see the Solus map of the battles section of the game, and you can see some power-ups in the background, some different rebels. We got a Solustin, we got a shock trooper manning a turret, and we got the AT-ATs looming overhead, because apparently on Solus is where they manufacture those AT-ATs, and they kind of need them for the Battle of Hoth coming up. So the last revealed game mode for missions is Hero Battles. So that one reads, Star Wars Battlefront Hero Battles lets you live out your Star Wars battle fantasies by letting you play as Luke Skywalker, Darth Vader, and more. Feel the power as you master moves like Saber Rush or Force Choke as some of the most iconic characters in the galaxy. So what I'm guessing this is kind of the same thing as battles, except instead of playing as infantry troopers, you play as the heroes with playing alongside the infantry troopers coming around. So I think either you play as only a hero or you have the ability to pick up hero power-ups more frequently in that one, or heroes don't exist at all in the previous one. But that one's a little bit vague, not exactly sure what it's going to be like, but it's probably going to be fun nonetheless. Now, moving on to multiplayer modes, we've got Fighter Squadron, which is take to the skies and dogfight in some of the most memorable Star Wars vehicles, including X-Wings, TIE Fighters, the Millennium Falcon, and more. So, at E3, I believe, we got to see the Fighter Squadron trailer, which looked very awesome. And so this is kind of what replaces space battles in the new Star Wars Battlefront. And I'm totally fine with that. I mean, some people are complaining that there's no space battles or whatever, but I think this is a very equivalent experience to the space battles from the previous games. It's in-atmosphere battles with a bunch of enemy fighters, and your objective is to take down runaway Imperial shuttles that are trying to escape the atmosphere. So it sounds pretty awesome, and I believe that it will be a solid game mode. The next one is Supremacy. So this one, it reads, Rebels and Imperials fight for control of 5 key points in this intense 40-player clash that takes place on some of the largest maps in Star Wars Battlefront. Take advantage of both ground and air vehicles in order to secure victory for your team. So what this, I think, equates to from the previous games is our standard Conquest mode. So instead of calling it Conquest mode, they decided to call it Supremacy, but you're pretty much trying to get control points around the map, and depending on the different planet you're playing on, there's probably different environmental and landscape structures that change how the round plays out. So this one, according to the picture that was revealed for Supremacy, which is the one that we are looking at, so this is the Endor Supremacy, but apparently there may be AT-ATs that travel around the map. Again, we've already previously heard that those are on rails, but for this mode, maybe they're just used to help suppress certain areas that are being heavily contested. Or either this may not be even a picture from Supremacy, although that's what they advertised it as, and that may be a walker from Walker Assault. We never know. But moving on, our next one is Cargo. So this was a recently announced mode, and the official description reads, a thrilling tug-of-war experience for fans of Star Wars and capture the flag gameplay. Cargo challenges your team to capture valuable cargo boxes from the opposing team. Get the loot and make your way back to your base, but don't forget to defend your own precious, as each capture counts. So this is kind of a Star Wars twist on Capture the Flag, which is very cool, and I am interested to see just how this one plays out. It looks pretty close combat, at least from this picture, and I feel like it'll be pretty intense and very close quarters combat. And who knows, we may have some longer range, bigger maps, depending on what planet you're playing on. The next one was also a very recent announcement, and that is Droid Run. 6 Rebels and 6 Imperials fight to capture and hold onto 3 GNK power droids. These droids are the droids you are looking for. Gonk. So these are the Gonk droids. So it's a kind of a capture the flag / supremacy type game mode, except that you are in a lot smaller squads. You've only got 6 people fighting here for you, whereas in Supremacy you had 20 people on each side, much like Walker Assault. So those ones are a lot bigger, and these ones are probably much smaller maps, and you have to really work with your team to take control and keep control of those Gonk droids. So this one looks very cool, and of course this is the Tatooine map, I believe, because you can kind of see some Jawas in the background in the junk piles, as well as some sort of city up on the rocks on the horizon. So very cool. I'm interested to see how that one also plays out in the game. Now, moving on to one that many of you from the beta are very familiar with is Walker Assault. So, Walker Assault is the big, massive 40-player battle, and it reads, fight in epic 40-player battles as a rebel to destroy the Empire's onslaught of AT-ATs by calling in Y-Wing bombers, or side with the Empire and protect your walkers while utilizing their mighty weaponry to crush the rebel objective. So all of you beta players got very familiar with the Battle of Hoth Walker Assault. Of course, there are going to be Solus Walker Assaults, Endor, and Tatooine Walker Assaults, which those will be very cool to see how and where the AT-ATs are traveling across the landscape, because this one is very iconic, since that's pretty much the only time they ever really used AT-ATs in the movie. And so seeing the AT-ATs on different worlds will be really awesome. So this one doesn't need much explanation, because there's a lot of content on YouTube around of different gameplay for Walker Assault, and there was a trailer released earlier with some gameplay from it. So everyone is probably well acquainted. If you aren't, go just search around, you'll find something, and it is very popular so far. Now the next one we're going to go to is Blast, and this is a classic team deathmatch mode with a Star Wars Battlefront twist. Fast-paced and packed with chaotic fun, Blast pits 10 rebels against 10 Imperials in a fight to the finish. Again, a much smaller, close quarters, team-oriented battle mode that requires probably a lot of strategy and teamwork between the teams to come out with the victory, since there's a lot smaller maps and a lot less players on the map in total. Lastly, or coming up on the last, we've got Drop Zone. Again, you beta players are probably pretty familiar with this one in specific on Solus, but Drop Zone is keeping an eye on the sky. Escape pods are crashing down onto the planetary surfaces, and your team must fight for control of them. Drop Zone provides frantic 8 versus 8 matches that will put your combat and strategic skills to the test. This one is very fast-paced from what I've seen. It's a lot less walking, and there's a lot less travel time as compared to Walker Assault and some of the larger ones. This one is very fast-paced. You can get straight back into the action within moments, and you're fighting for 5 pods that fall to the surface of the planet, and once you capture them, your team gets a point, and once you capture it, some of the power-ups spill onto the ground so that you can use and kind of get an advantage over the other team. So capturing those pods are very important. Moving on to one of our final 2, we've got heroes versus villains. The most valiant heroes and cunning villains of the galaxy are clashing in this epic Star Wars Battlefront mode. Luke Skywalker, Darth Vader, Boba Fett, and other iconic characters will be a part of your team together with ground troopers. Keep your heroes and villains alive to score points and win the battle. So this one, I think, is a slightly different and modified version of the old heroes versus villains in Battlefront 2, but instead you've got ground troops around you, which is kind of interesting. So, and then you want to keep your guys alive to score points. Not exactly sure on the specifics of how this one is going to run, but nonetheless, you are fighting as heroes and villains, so that's pretty awesome. So that one sounds pretty awesome. I mean, why wouldn't it be? You're playing as heroes and villains, which is one of the coolest parts of the games, because it gives you a brief moment of like pure power over the other players. Moving on to our final mode, we've got Hero Hunt, which is 7 Imperials against Luke Skywalker, 7 Rebels battling it out against Boba Fett. In Hero Hunt, one player will experience the thrill of playing as an iconic Star Wars Battlefront hero or villain, facing off against ground troops from the opposing faction. Want to play as the hero? Take them out and you'll get your chance. But remember, once you become the hero, the hunt is on. Now that sounds pretty awesome. I like the idea of this game mode that you're taking and working as a team to take out a much stronger opponent. So there's only one of that stronger opponent, which is one of the heroes, and then you work as a team to take them out, which could prove quite difficult. So there's probably going to be a lot of strategy on how you're going to have to maneuver your way across the map around and be able to get the jump on the hero before they take you out. And then once you take out the hero, the person that takes them out then becomes the hero for the next kind of round of the map. So that will bring us to a close. I hope you all enjoyed this video, kind of my thoughts and takes on what and how the game modes will play out, as well as some descriptions of what they are. So these are all the announced game modes. There's most likely going to be more to come, so stay tuned for new game mode releases for Star Wars Battlefront. There's only 28 days left, and I will see you on the battlefield. May the Force be with you.